properly given said notice have been transmitted to the Courier News and Star Ledger on Tuesday, May 27, 2014, as well as posted on the official bulletin board in the city clerk's office. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Yes, Council President. Councilman Ms. Brown.
She had to preach tonight at a service in Newark, and it was she had already planned to be there, so she couldn't cancel her service for tonight. But she planned to be here, but she couldn't cancel.
Reeves.
Yeah.
Storch. Absent during roll call.
He just called and informed me that he wouldn't be here.
Teller. Here. Williams.
Here.
Chairman Reed.
Here.
Council President Rivers.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you.
Pursuant
Mr. Clerk, Madam Clerk, can you announce the call, please?
Pursuant to Article 2, Section 2:2-10A of the Administrative Code of the City of Plainfield, 1971, a special meeting is hereby called by the Plainfield City Council at 8:00 p.m. on Thursday, May 29, 2014, in the City Hall Library, 515 Washington Avenue, City of Plainfield, for the purpose of considering and acting upon the following: resolution voicing disapproval with the comments of Mayor Adrian O'Knapp on Plainfield Cable Television and referring the matter to the New Jersey Local Government Ethics Board.
Thank you. I see we have someone here taping the meeting tonight because we received a notice of change from the mayor as a result of the budget cuts made to the media department and constraints imposed on the administration and the resources needed to operate PCTV. The recording of council meetings will be adversely affected for the remainder of 2014. But I just want to go on the record that as of April of this year, I was informed by media that they have not been getting any overtime, so it did not affect the budget. What they have been operating on is something that's called a flexible schedule. So if they taped council meetings or if they taped any type of programs outside of the council, they had a flexible schedule. So this type of communication is inaccurate because media was acting on a flexible schedule and they was not receiving any type of compensation or any type of overtime to tape council meetings, special programs, or anything outside the city's business. So I just wanted to go on the record with that. Now, we have privilege of the floor. Please be advised that a total time limit of 30 minutes will be allocated to permit members of the public to comment on resolutions and motions considered this evening. The floor is open.
You want me to sit here or here?
Here, so he can sort of.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
so they can see your face. Rashid Abdul Haq, 1272 Park Avenue, Plainfield. I don't know exactly, well, I'm having a hard time understanding why you all are meeting about this. It seemed to me that the mayor, and I certainly don't agree with him on things I don't think he did right, but it seems that you should want him to have a mayor's corner to speak to the people. And it's just, that's what the TV was designed for anybody to have a corner or a program. And in talking, I see something about the ethics committee. It sounds like it's suggesting that something was done wrong. Now, somebody just gave me a tape today from last year in front of a school where Jerry Green was calling somebody's mama a bitch. And if anything should go to the ethics committee in Trenton, it should be that. And I have a copy if you want, but I think everybody's seen it. But, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Alan Goldstein, 939 Madison Avenue.
Good evening.
I'm really also not certain why we're having this meeting here tonight. I think it's good to have a mayor who's willing to speak his mind. I think it's good to have a mayor who tells the truth. I know that may be up to other people's opinion, but I think personally that it is the truth. If you look on the White House website, there's a whole list of radio addresses that he makes on Saturday, along with accompanying video. And he takes apart the Republicans on occasion. He calls them out for exactly what Mayor Mapp called out the City Council and Assemblyman Jerry Green. If you go to the New Jersey State Assembly Democratic Majority website, they've got 250 videos on Vimeo where they're dealing with the issues, legislation. And I don't think Chris Christie is bringing ethics charges or claiming that things are unethical because of those videos. I think we got something that it was very straightforward. I don't really see what the purpose of this is. I don't find it unethical, and I don't think there's any legal basis in the state's ethics law to make a formal complaint. I could think of many reasons to bring formal complaints against several of you. And I'm not going to go here and read them off, but I think you're pretty aware of what those are. So I think as far as this resolution goes, it's a shame. I think we should close up shop and we could go on with our lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Charles Eck, 1044 Woodland Avenue in Plainfield. I've heard so many people spoke, and I think the example they gave is very erroneous. Yes, Obama does speak to the people, but it was an issue that benefits the country. And it was not an issue between him and his party, or between him and whoever it may be. Now, having said that, what I don't find in this video is anything that will bring prospect to Plainfield. I also heard the mayor say during the campaign and after campaign, there is one city, one people, one destiny. So what I'm asking myself is what happened to those three verbs? One city, one people, one destiny. Having said that, what I don't know the mayor is trying to accomplish, he has the right to speak his voice. But I think it should have been done based on the content of those videos. It should have been done as a private citizen. What I don't like is using my own taxpayers' money to sit in the property of the city at the city time to criticize your fellow citizen. That is not business of the city. The thing that I don't find as a business of the city is that the mayor said that it's going to ground the city of Plainfield, that they're grounding it. When I asked myself when I saw that video, if people are seeing this video besides the city of Plainfield and the business community, and sees the mayor saying that he's having a problem with his council and Assemblyman Green and the rest of the governing body, then the question that I'm asking everybody here as a citizen is, where does anyone come in to bring any business in Plainfield if the atmosphere in Plainfield is not conducive to do business? And again, as if the mayor is the father of this city, if you believe that you have a problem with your citizens, or if I can use that language, you discuss the issue with them. You try to meet with your council members, find out what the problems are. You do not have to drag the whole entire people through video, telling them literally that you're having a problem with Plainfield. That's what I do not like in that video. And another thing I don't like in that video is using the taxpayers' money at the taxpayers' time on the city property to criticize people. That's my dislike. And I want all those questions to be answered. Maybe we can find what the solution will be. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any more for privilege of the floor?
Good evening. I'm Tom Karcher at 1115 Prospect Avenue. I watched the video. I thought the video was excellent. I thought the video was right on target for use of public access TV within the city of Plainfield, for the mayor to speak to the citizens of Plainfield, to explain in detail the vision that he was overwhelmingly elected on last November, and why the need to bring professional, competent experts into the city government in terms of economic development, in terms of marketing information officer, and also in third position was, let's see, one for the third position. But chief of staff to respond to both citizens' issues and issues of the press and needs quickly in a timely fashion. But those three positions were absolutely important. And to me, as was pointed out a little while ago, this is what the President of the United States, our President Barack Obama, does every weekend. And he'll call out, numerous times has called out the recalcitrant Republican House of Representatives for blocking what would be progressive things to bring employment, to bring improved economy, economic values into the city. As the mayor explained, unless we grow the ratables in this city, all the taxpayers existing today are going to have to bear the burden of increased taxes, which are going to have to go up. So it's very important for us to do that. Now, for him also to go out and say, here's what I'm elected on, here's what I'm standing for, what I'm trying to do, here's what I'm being blocked from doing by the governing body of the city, I think is a fair criticism. And as we all know, anybody who lives in this town has been paying attention, knows that one person has run this city for the last 20 years. He's put every candidate in office. He also has done what he can to orchestrate things the way he wants them to be, which is not for the citizens of Plainfield. So what I would want to know, or I want to ask all of you here, the elected body, is I'd love to see you taking time on the Plainfield and see your vision for Plainfield. I'd love to see what you have to say. Because what I've seen, especially in the last 4 months and over the last many, many years, you and your predecessors, is not a vision. I've seen since January efforts to block everything. 2 years ago, when you commissioned the PMUA task force to investigate alternatives and solutions, you were given very, very cogent data that showed the PMUA, which at that time had a budget.
Mr. Coach, your time is up.
My time's up. Okay. So I'll leave it there.
Thank you.
But I would suggest you all respond and use the time wisely on the public television. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Roland Mohammed, 1117 North Avenue. It's something how we come and defend a man that do not even defend us. He's not even here. He always complained about a mayor that we had that gave 18, 20 hours a day of her life, 8 years. And but she did more than what this man have done in one day. She have done more than him. I mean, you don't even see him. And the new Democratic Party, I mean, I'm looking at this. I guess this is a part of what I want to talk about is, you know, it's all about Matt. That's why we're here. But it said they're a bunch of phonies. We call ourselves Democrats, and now we have a new Democrats. You know, this city is more divided today than it have ever been. And you talk about Plainfield, how it was before the previous administration. If it was so beautiful, why did the 60s arise? What happened in the 60s? What was happening in Plainfield before some of you came here? I was born here, raised here. My mother was born here, raised here. So it's not too much you can tell me about Plainfield. And for you to talk about everything the map said was truth. Who said so? Just like I respect Brother Hawk. He come up here, every time he come up here, I wish sometimes that brother would talk about something other than Jerry Green.
Thank you.
I'm tired of everybody talking about what Jerry is doing. Well, you know, at least he's doing something.
Thank you.
He's not just sitting like a ringside fighter. You know, like they say, a ringside fighter never loses because he never get in the ring. Never lose. And we have a bunch of ringside fighters. See, that guy said last week about Plainfield today and Plainfield Talker. I don't care what you write about me. I'm not running for office. I don't have to bite my tongue at all. Now, at one time when I worked for the city, they would tell me all the time, brother, don't you know you're going to lose your job? The hell with a job. I have had great men before me that lost more than a job. They lost their lives. So what is a job? Why would I worry about a job when I cannot go in this community of my people and be proud of that job? I get a little bit long, or that's my time?
It's your time. You have time now.
I have time afterwards? Oh, all right, and I'm just warming up. So.
Good evening. Tom Crownover, I'm at 1112 Watchung Avenue. I just want to voice my support for Adrian Mapp, that he continue to do what he has done, that he continue to speak his mind, that he continue to point to those who vex him, that he continue to draw out those who are against the progress of this city. And I can only say amen to Adrian and his efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more for privilege of the floor?
Jeff Dunn, 537 Belvedere Avenue, Plainfield. Who wins when we lose? Plainfield. Who wins when we are so divided? Who wins when our own leader gets on television and divides and talks our dirty laundry in front of everybody? Who wins, Plainfield, when we have a situation where we do have issues, but we can't find a way to come together? When we let a Republican Party divide us with new Democrats and Democrats, it's Democrats, period. How many towns do you know where we have a situation where we have two groups in the same party fighting constantly? The thing is, the other party fears us so much that they would put people in between us so that we would never be all the power that we can be. If our mayor is a true leader, he would learn how to work with the body and be a leader and not talk about the other parts of the leadership. He needs to lead by example. He cultivates the culture. And what kind of culture is he cultivating? Hate, division, separation. I'm telling you, I know he has some things that He has an opinion. But certain things need to be said not in public, not on TV, not showing our enemies, those who would like to divide Plainfield and keep Plainfield down. Because see, there are other cities that benefit from Plainfield not having all that it should have. There is a state that would love to keep us under 50,000 people. How long is Plainfield going to be under 50,000 people? I've been here for 40 years and it's been under 50,000 people. All the other surrounding towns have increased. But our town stay below 50,000. Because why? Because if we go with 50,000, we go straight to the state and get our money. Who wins when Plainfield loses, ladies and gentlemen? And I think our mayor needs to focus on how he can bring us together, not separate us. The main reason why there's been an issue with him and the council is because he's been disrespecting the council with things thrown at the last minute. He is a man of finance. He's a man of administration. How dare he send information last minute in reference to budget? He knows that's disrespectful. He would never expect that. He would never accept that when he was a councilman. Why is he expecting this council to do the same thing? He's disrespecting the council, and therefore he's getting disrespect back. There is no cooperation because he's not cooperating. He's having a chief of staff and want to pay him damn near $100,000, but he wouldn't pay the other mayor $10,000, $15,000 for an assistant. How the heck do you justify that? And then you want to talk about an information person who's a blogger? Please. Sided? Unobjective? Come on. Who wins when Plainfield loses?
Thank you.
Any more for privilege on the floor?
Yes. But now would be an appropriate time because Jeff Dunn mentioned some of the things that I felt as well. Good evening, council and members of the city of Plainfield. Sharon Robinson Briggs, 216 Pemberton Avenue, Plainfield, New Jersey. I want to start off by saying I was so happy to receive this letter today from our senator, but I know I can get more into that a little bit later on. But he did answer a question that a lot of people have been asking, what is a New Democrat? And apparently it doesn't really exist. I want to speak to the issue before us briefly, and that is I agree with some of the folks that I've heard here this evening. One, with regard to Mr. Hock's statements, it is time to get off the Jerry Green vote. If there is an issue with Jerry Green, then take it to the State House and leave Plainfield alone with that. If you want to be a candidate to run for something in this fine city, be a candidate. But that whole Jerry Green thing, forget it. In terms of what Adrian Mapp has done with regard to our cable station, I'm totally surprised about that. I started that program, the Mayor's Corner. And what I did with the Mayor's Corner was to advocate for our businesses. I had business owners come in, I would interview them, they would give the community information about their businesses. It was something that people were calling when they wanted to come in and be on the air. I would speak with youth groups and other community components. And you know what, yes, and I appreciate being called a cheerleader, because if the mayor of the city that she or he loves can't be the cheerleader of the community, then what else can that person do? That person should be a cheerleader, should be a rah-rah person to be able to get people to want to come into the community, to want to be a part of the community. What Mr. Mapp did on our city cable station was, it should be deemed to be unethical. And I appreciate you looking into it, not because he's now the mayor. God knows some of those, and thank you, Shasma, thank you. God knows that some of those votes, as we know, my button, I'm gonna put it out there, my button didn't light up in some places, and Flor Gonzalez took a boatload of Latino people into the poll and voted for them. And the county knew about that because they contacted me about it and said that they spoke with her about it. So I don't want to hear anything else, please, about the 70%, because we can talk about that all night. We know that's not the story. This is a problem, and it should be investigated. After all, I remember a mayor who was doing things to stop violence, to cause a truce, and to save lives. And Mr. Mapp was the ringleader in wanting to have an investigation. So I think that what he has done here really does deem to be an unethical situation. And so I've done a little homework for you. I just made one copy. I'm on a budget, y'all, sorry. But I went on the State Ethics Commission website, so I printed out some information that describes conduct. And the Lawyer's Diary, New Jersey State Lawyer's Diary, has a section in the back of the book, and I'm sure Corporation Counsel has a big red book up in his office. you can get information about ethics attorneys, and I'll speak to you more a little bit later on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more for privilege of the floor?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Lillian Jamar, 135 Carlisle Terrace, Plainfield, New Jersey. 57 years. From the days of Lattimore up until the present, I have been involved with every mayor that we have had. And I tell you, it's like a bunch of crabs in a barrel. All you do is fight. Instead of trying to come together and make it better for the people, you're busy fighting one another. That's why I am supporting Mayor Mapp and his team on Line E, because I am sick and tired of this fighting constantly. You don't have to fight. How come you can't get in the room and sit down and talk to one another and find out how you can do it to make it better for the people? And I don't like the city administration naming people, nicknaming them, calling them, calling white people honkies or whatever, and sticks for Spanish, and people calling people niggers. I don't like that. Stop fighting and name calling. Use your money for the benefit of the people. Try to help do things that we need. We don't need you fighting among yourselves. And you know what? All those people that you're calling these names, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't even be on the city council, because nobody would vote for you. But you're on there, and you're supposed to be representing everybody, not just black folks or whatever folks you chose to represent. We have been fighting ever since Lattimore came on board. We cannot get along. All we do every year is one thing after another. I am fed up. When are you going to sit down and use some sense and stop fighting? I don't know what the mayor said on TV because I did not hear it. But I know what I see here, and I know what I hear, and I'm tired of hearing it. Get along. Do your job. Don't run to church on Sunday and preach the gospel and talk to the people about what you're supposed to be doing, and then from Monday until Saturday, you're fighting in the back room, doing backroom politics. I don't like it. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Coleman, 750 East Front Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. I've seen the video. I didn't see anything wrong with it. But I am upset because when I watch the council on TV, I see the council members' eye rolling, this and that. You know, when someone speaks, you know, the eyes be rolling them, you know. I mean, you're a council. You're supposed to sit there, listen to the people when they come up to the mic. Stop fussing with something you don't like, you don't agree to, then speak on it, but not with that attitude of rolling your eyes. And I know you all don't get along with Adrian Mapp, because I can see it in your eyes. And when he was inaugurated, when he was here at the City Hall, oh yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to stick with him, we're going to work with him. You're not working with him at all. You're fighting, just like Lillian said. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. We are grown men and women. We need to stop and get along with one another. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We all have the same blood running in our body, which is red. Let's get along and stop all this bickering and eye rolling on the TV, because everybody's talking about it. Trust me when I say that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sharon Smith, 513 Church Place, Plainfield, New Jersey.
Good evening.
Good evening. I have to say, this is the first time I'm actually sitting at this table ever, and I'm a supporter of Adrian Mack. Totally because I've been living here, it will be 9 years in Plainfield. Unlike this young lady who spent 57 years of her life here, in 9 years, I've seen no change. My property value is in the tank, and I'm really sick and tired of it. I guess I don't get it. I don't get it why basic, not just party level, but basic understanding. I mean, if we don't like what we have going on, change it. Stop talking about it. Do something to fix it. It's getting nowhere. There is no value in Plainfield. I'm ready to sell, but guess what? I can't. It's no value in Plainfield. No one's doing anything. All this bickering and back and forth business, it's not getting anywhere. So what is the point of today? Just to prove out, and everybody wants to throw their comments and research, but you're not doing anything. At this point of the whole process, somebody needs to make a change. And I'm going to support the change in the new party because something other than what we've had for the last 8 years of my time here hasn't worked. So I'm ready to jump on the bandwagon for something that's going to work. And I will support it. This is my first time out, but it won't be my last time here either. Because I'm just sick and tired. I had to just see something on Facebook 1 or 2 times this week alone, and it's brought me here. So if that's telling you something that there's a new change right now, is that all I had to see it was 1 time, and it brought me here to this table. So if you guys don't get it together, you're just going to lose everyone at this point. I'm only 9 years here, and I'm ready to go. You know? Thank you.
Thank you. Any more? Seeing no.
Good evening, everyone. Carell Martin, 1201 East Front Street, Plainfield, New Jersey.
Good evening.
And I agree with most of the comments made here, and especially the last ones, that we as a community have got to start getting together and have more respect for each other. I've been saying that all along. It's awful the way we talk, the way we treat each other, the lack of respect, the lack of community. Maybe if we can all come together, start working together, and I'm glad to see the young ladies here, and hopefully we'll get more citizens of our town to come out to change the image of Plainfield. We have to support our mayor, but we also have to support the assemblymen. And I pray that they can come together and work together. And also our council here, we all have to work together. We're not children. This behavior has to stop. The town needs to improve. Maybe we can get businesses back here in Plainfield if we start cleaning up. Our public, people who deal with the public, our police department has to get better. Our social services has to get better. People have to get more involved on the commissions that we have here in Plainfield. It's awful. I just rode through, Front and Norwood, where the sign is at, Welcome to Plainfield Business District. There's an abandoned home, and the grass is so high, you could barely see the sign there. That's insane. You know, please put that down. There's another house on the main street that looks a mess. I asked that the cops start giving fines for people that are littering in the town. We have to start promoting healthy things, and the TV, the access to the television should be used to show the positivity, the things that we're doing here in town, opposed to the bickering that we're doing amongst ourselves. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for our children to see this. We have so many good people here in Plainfield, residents, children. It's awful. It's really, really awful. We have to change this. We have to build the image back up in our schools. We have to start teaching better, as I spoke with Councilwoman Teller about as well, building a city of character. Something has to give. I am so sick of this also, all this fighting. Please, what are we, almost 6 months into the year? So I pray the next meeting we come to that we all have come up with some sort of plans that we're working together to make a difference here in our city and our community. and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I want to see changes. I want to see promotion for a cleaner city, respect for each other, better humanity, empathy towards each other. And yes, we have to work with our officials, our council, our mayor, our assemblymen. Everyone has to work together. And may the best man win at the election that's coming up on June 3rd. God bless you. Woman, man, all of you. Congratulations to whoever win, and come back in here and work like you're supposed to. Together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Dottie Gutenkamp, 414 Randolph Road. And I'm going to say for the record that I am not now and have never been a member of either the Communist Party or the New Democrats. I have worked with the regular Democrats since my husband and I moved to Plainfield in 1982. And right now I'm in a position where, at the age of 80, all I can say is I'm an old Democrat. I have been working in political campaigns since 1958, which is before most of you were born. And I have to tell you that if it takes some nonsense like what's been going on here to bring out this crowd of citizens, keep on doing it. Because what we need more than anything else is citizen input.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what else we need. We need to get off the grandstanding. We need to get off that. You know, Will Rogers, the American humorist, said long ago, I'm not a member of any organized political party, I'm a Democrat. That may take a minute to sink in. Someone whose name I forget more recently said that the difference between Democrats and cannibals is that cannibals never kill and eat members of their own tribe. That's a significant difference. It's a significant difference. And I want to tell you, if I seem less ailing, thanks Bernice, than usual, it's because after I got today's mail, my blood pressure, which is normally 120/60, pretty good for an 80-year-old smoker. Rebecca, I don't need that. Put it down,
You know what I'm
please.
saying.
I know what you're saying, you don't need to. Right? My blood pressure went up, so I've already given my chauffeur, Alan, the list of people to call if I collapse out of here. Because I'm telling you, my blood pressure went up. And it's been going up for days. This excuse for a meeting is the silliest thing I've seen on this council. And that says an awful lot, because I've seen a lot of silly things on this council. More than I can say. I watched Adrian's video. I have some criticisms of it. I'm allowed to. Nobody owns me. I've spoken to Adrian about it. I don't care if he takes my suggestions seriously or not. That's up to him. I actually got a call from Jerry Green this morning. And I may talk about that a little later, but when we hung up the phone, we were still on speaking terms.
Ms. Gutenkamp,
Yes, ma'am.
your time is up.
I will be back.
Thank you.
Like MacArthur said, I shall return.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sean McKenna, 1620 Forest Hill Road. And first of all, I want to just say ditto to everything Valerie said. Secondly, I want to ask if you all wrote down that tree that's blocking that sign, because that is part of your job. One of you, or all of you, or everybody in this room should contact Public Works and let them know about that sign. That's what you do. That's what we pay you for. And I think sometimes the council forgets that you work for us, we don't work for you. The other thing I would say is that while there's many things you could say about the mayor, if you're going to file an ethics complaint or have a review, you ought to put a little teeth in this. You ought to say what it is. What did he violate? Basically what you said here is he hurt your feelings, and you're sad. There's nothing here that quotes any law that was violated or broken. You basically said your feelings are hurt and you want them to investigate it, which is a waste of taxpayer money. As is this, where we have to have the lights on and we have to have a policeman here, probably having to get overtime for a resolution that says nothing other than you just don't like what he said. I mean, I think that if you're going to go to this extent and waste the Ethics Commission's time and everybody else's time, you ought to cite what it is that he did that is unethical or illegal or inappropriate, other than, I don't think it's against the law for your feelings to get hurt, unless I'm wrong. So I think if you're going to go to this extent, which interestingly, you're all reading this right now, I think you would have read this before, but I think if you're going to go to this extent and pass this, you should probably not embarrass yourself by passing it this way. Put in the letter of the law, put in the section, put in the whole thing. But sending this off to just say your feelings are hurt and you feel bad because the mayor was mean is silly. It's a waste of time. And it makes you guys look foolish. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any more for privilege of the floor? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close privilege of the floor?
So moved.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion's carried. Mr. Chairman, would you please introduce the resolution considered for this evening?
Thank you, Madam President.
I'm sorry, before that, are there any comments from council members?
Well, I would just like to reiterate what I said last time. And I'm also glad to see a lot of people who are out and interested in our city. I do think that some of the comments that the mayor made were appropriate, but in addition to what was appropriate, what was most inappropriate was what he said with reference to personal tax. And also the fact that he used what I would consider time, as the gentleman said, where he should be talking about the potholes and most of his vision, etc. And he used as an opportunity to lambast people, to talk about, he leads by example, and I do not think that what he did was correct. Secondly, it allegedly looks like it was a political statement, and the politics, negative politics, and the poor example that he used as a leader was not acceptable, and he should have known better. That perhaps should have been done as he is campaigning with the New Democrats. He should do it at that point, but not when he's on television as representing the mayor of all the people. I hear a lot of comments from people who are so quick to blame the council, but yet the leader of the city who creates the tone, the image, is the one who was leading by a poor example. And he understands, because he worked with the council, that you have to work, and you have to work with the council, you have to count your votes. You are not an autocratic leader, this is a democracy. And it amazes me that people are talking this way with, I know they have a knowledge of how the democratic process works, but yet they want us to believe that everything that has been done by the executive branch is correct and everything done by the legislative is wrong. There are two branches, we have to work together. But I know, even as a former principal, the leader starts with a negative approach as he was, that sets a negative tone for your city. And for you to do it on your own time, on the city's time, sitting in the mayor's seat, That is unheard of. No other mayor has done this. Now, do it on your own time, when you're on the political trail with folk, that's appropriate. Call everybody names, it doesn't matter, it's politics. You know, you're talking about the notice that was sent to us today. I mean, I'm looking at the notice that was sent a couple of days ago. I mean, so that's the nature of negative politics, I assume. But for you to take city time and to lead and to say those negative kinds of things, you're no better than the other folk. You're the leader of our city. We should not want our mayor to talk like that. It was inappropriate and I feel it was unethical. Nobody else in this city has done that. Now, a lot of the folk tonight have particular sides. So you say the same thing every week, so we know who you are. Now, where is someone who has not been here every week and who's already has not identified themselves as one, us and them? That is the problem. We want to work with the mayor. I want to work with him. I know what it's like to be in the seat that he's in. I've talked to him. But when you continuously ignore and will not work with the legislative branch, there is a problem. And for you to blame the council because you're so enamored with what the mayor is doing, that is not acceptable either. That is not fair. That is not fair. We are not trying to do anything. All of us are in the same boat. I own a house. I have the same problems you can hardly make it. I am a widow. I am now on a fixed income. So you tell me why I have the same kind of interest. I'm not getting anything more than anybody else
I
is.
have comments from the side.
Thank you.
Well, you have to respect our.
Well, those who are not respecting me, that's because they don't have any respect for themselves.
Thank you. Right.
Thank you.
I just want to say, with regard to a few things that were said about this, a few things that were said about me, that continue to be said about me, regarding this meeting, the reason that I came to the meeting was to kind of witness what I feel is, continues to be foolishness on the part of the governing body. I agree that this meeting really should not have taken place, and to say that the mayor cannot put forth his agenda to the public and to do so is unethical is, as I've said to others and in other media, to attack Barack Obama, who calls out the legislative body of Congress that does not work with him. He calls them out by name and says, Cruz and Boehner will not work with me on getting this passed. You remember the fight that he had with the legislative body of Congress regarding the fiscal cliff. So to say that an elected official cannot, go to the people directly with his agenda and call out by name the people whom he feels or she feels are obstructing the agenda that was voted on by the people when they elected that individual, I think that that is foolish. And I think it's short-sighted, and I think it's deliberately obfuscating, willfully obfuscating the truth of the matter, which is that, as my colleague said, we're in a political season, and what has been referenced is a piece that came out just today by the Senate President of New Jersey, Stephen Sweeney, the President of the New Jersey State Senate, attacking me and calling me and our grassroots organization, our club, New Democrats, calling us sort of Tea Party people. We've been around for 12 years. I am a founding member of the New Jersey chapter of Progressive Democrats of America. I am a progressive Democrat. I have my credentials, and I've done my work. So to be called out, and to also, looking at this flyer, to have an image of Liberty Village saying that I was handing out tax breaks for millionaire cronies. I think we know that had it not been for a flyer that I distributed in Liberty Village to bring those folks here to make sure that they witnessed their council in action, that pilot would not have been extended. All right? So that's another thing. The final thing, I just want to read a quote. And this is a quote that I put up on my blog from time to time, and it's by one of my favorite writers, Octavia Butler. And you can figure out who I'm talking about. Maybe I'm talking about Steve Sweeney. I'm certainly talking about the esteemed Assemblyman Jerry Green. Choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all that the coward fears. To be led by a fool is to be led by the opportunists who control the fool. To be led by a thief is to offer up your most precious treasures to be stolen. To be led by a liar is to ask to be told lies. To be led by a tyrant is to sell yourself and those you love into slavery. I hope that you all will keep that in mind when you go to the polls on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Councilwoman Williams.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to see so many people out interested in this subject and so forth. And I don't have much to say. I just say that it brought me back a few years ago when a former mayor had done something that the council didn't approve, and he came here, and I suggested before that our president of the council and the mayor go to her office, lock the door, give me the key, and when they have reached some type of agreement to move Plainfield forward and to stop pestering and arguing about what has been done and plan to do something, I suggest the same thing with Mr. Mayor that we have now, who was our president at that time, and he didn't go incidentally. And we spent about $100,000 on just lawyers fighting a stupid thing that somebody spent money, didn't come and asked us for it. And incidentally, they spent over $11,000 more and didn't come and ask us for it. The mayor and the assemblyman should go in someone's office, lock the door, bat each other over the head, come out and say, we're going to Trenton to try to get more money and more recognition for Plainfield, and to get some of those companies to come here and give some jobs that the people here can do. It would be fun. I would even drive them down there, I would beat up BMW. So that's my recommendation at this point. And I do agree with a lot of the things that's been said. We should not have a meeting like this. I never expected to have another one from having all those stupid meetings and hearings and stuff over stopping the shooting in the city. That was worse than what we're talking about now, wasn't it?
Yes.
Thank you.
And incidentally, it stopped. So, Madam President?
I just want to make a few comments. Some of the things that were said that the mayor should not have a corner. I'm in full support of the mayor having a corner. I'm in full support of the council people having a corner, as well as the administration if needed. But I'm not in full support of the mayor or anyone else using the corner for their own personal gain. I mean, this is treading on, excuse me, is there a police officer out there? Because the council is speaking and we will not have any disrespect on the sidelines. Thank you. The mayor has the right to say and promote the city. But what the mayor do not have the right to do is use city television time to promote his own agenda. I do not have a problem with the mayor using the corner to promote economic development, ratables coming into the city, and promoting his vision. I also do not have a problem with the mayor promoting his reasons as to why he needed his budget passed. But for him to try to promote his own, again, personal reasons as to why he feels the city is not moving forward is incorrect. This is not the assembly, this is the city of Plainfield. I hear people say that President Obama uses time, but he's also on public TV. He's not using Washington D.C.'s time to present his agenda. This right here is this meeting is extremely important, because if we allow this mayor to continue to disrespect this council, to say that he wants to do what he wants to do without coming to the council and trying to work it out, he will continue to do this for the next 4 years. The council have to make a stand right now. And the stand is that we will not allow abuse of property in the city of Plainfield. Again, we supported 99% of the mayor's agenda. I want the people to understand. On January 6th, the mayor gave us appointments. We supported them all except 2. Then we received a budget that was clearly, it was just clearly a disaster. They had to go back to the table because the council sat down and figured out that this budget was not an appropriate budget. So they had to go back to the table and revise this budget so that we can get the budget approved for January. People, stop saying that the council is not working. And I'm speaking to this young lady because this is her first time there. I'm not on Facebook, but I would like to have a dialogue with you after this meeting, because what you're hearing on Facebook could be some of the truth, but it's not all the truth. We have supported the mayor 95%, but we will not support the mayor disrespecting the council and using city's time to do his agenda. The council had to hire someone to come in and tape this meeting tonight, because the mayor decided, effective immediately because of the budget constraints, that we can no longer have our special meetings taped, which he just had a special meeting which media taped. He said because of budget constraints. Well, I'm here to tell the people tonight that as of April, media was not receiving any extra overtime, or not $1 more than their salary, to tape any of our meetings, any of the special programs, any of the outside programs. So to hear that the media is not going to be able to tape any special programs, any special meetings because of the council's budget adoption is totally false information. So I just wanted to get that out there to the public. There's an email that went to the media department in April informing them that they cannot receive overtime, that they had to use something called flex time. So the media department, again, I just want to make this clear, is not receiving $1 more than their salary to tape our council meetings. So what I'm also going to be offering at our next meeting is for the council to do an ordinance to make sure that all meetings are taped, because it's important to the citizens. Some citizens cannot get down here and observe the meeting. They watch the meetings on TV. So it's extremely important that these meetings be taped. So for the mayor, whom we all support, because if he does well, we do well, the city do well. So don't think that we, the council, are not supporting the mayor, but we, the council, are respecting the mayor, and we demand respect also. With that being said, Mr. Clerk, Mr. Chairman, could you please read the resolution at hand?
Okay. I thought maybe you used clerk instead of jury, but Council President Bridget and members of the governing body who are here, and the public, I hereby introduce a resolution identified as R 211-14, which is voicing disapproval with the comments of Mayor Adrian O'Mapp on the Plainfield cable television and referring the matter to the New Jersey Local Government Ethics Board and move for its adoption. Have a second, please.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote?
Resolution R 211-14. Councilmembers Reeves,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Williams,
No. No.
Chairman Reed,
Yes.
Council President Rivers.
Yes.
4 in favor, 1 opposed. Resolution has been adopted.
Thank you. Now we're at citizens' participation. Public comments during this portion of the agenda may be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City of Plainfield. A total of 60 minutes have been allocated for public comments. The floor is now open. Excuse me, 1 second, you gotta get the time right.
What do I get, 5 minutes?
You got it? You sure? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Hello again, Alan Goldstein, 939 Madison Avenue.
Thank you.
You know, back in October, before the November elections, I went into Jerry Green's office to speak with him about something I thought was inconsistent on his blog concerning Muhlenberg Hospital. We struck up a little bit of a dialogue and vowed, the two of us, that we would meet going forward and discuss some issues. So I prepared a list of about a dozen different issues, including Muhlenberg, PMUA, Plainfield Action Services, and a variety of things. And I went in and spoke with him with that list in hand. I spoke in December with Mayor-elect Matt over the same topics, Councilwoman Williams, and Council President Bridget Rivers. In December, I got a call from Assemblyman Green after the respective directors had been announced by the mayor-elect. And he wanted to know what I thought about those choices. But really what he wanted to do, which he ultimately did, was to start lambasting every which one of them. And he continued that in January when he came to me and he asked me, well, if Councilwoman Williams decides not to run or run off the line, would I be interested in running for the 2nd and 3rd Ward at-large seat? And I said, well, I appreciate the thought. I'll certainly think about it. And then he went on to belittle all the directors, the economic development person, who he said did absolutely nothing. He hasn't done anything. He ain't done nothing. And it's been on and on and on like that. And if he's talking to me, and I didn't know why he was being so generous, because I don't seem to see eye to eye to him on anything, but one thing was very clear. He's not interested. He didn't show any interest in any of the issues in this city. He only showed an interest in what kind of strings he could pull and how he could manipulate the city council and basically use me as a pawn in whatever game he had in mind. And he's been like that. And I think people who are more attuned to him and people who are closer to him politically, who may be swayed by just the suggestion that maybe Mr. Sanchez is a nothing, or Ron West is the sole reason that Muhlenberg Hospital closed, or other kind of things, are going to be influenced. And I've seen that from January 1st till right tonight, and it's shameful. Now, you're passing a resolution here, you just passed a resolution that's got no teeth, as that gentleman said. There's no basis in, whatever half a dozen or dozen different things are in the state ethics law. Now, I've looked at those state ethics laws. I looked at those state ethics laws when you decided to give Cecil Sanders time and time to go from one public body to another, peddling his idea for the parking lot over on Central and 2nd. I saw more of it when several of you went on and on and on about Legal Shield and trying to turn a deal with somebody who lied in a public document, in a contract, and on a proposal about what the true ownership and management structure of his company was previously. So if you're talking about ethics violations, they're aplenty. Now, I personally was not so keen on this WBLS thing going on the way it did. I know it cost a lot of money. But there were serious fiscal irregularities about the money that was behind that. But what really angered me, at the same time that was going on, the city was sitting on $270,000 in a community services block grant that was handed out illegally, that was done in the dark of night, that the city sat on for over a year before finally bringing out to the council when there was only a month and a half or so left before all the services using that money had to be utilized. And they did it illegally, and I don't think that issue is fully resolved.
Mr. Goldstein, your time is up.
So in comparison,
Mr. Goldstein,
it's a joke.
your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more for privilege of the floor?
Hello, my name is Ozella Brundage, 823rd Place, and I'm hearing a lot of comparisons of Mayor Matt to President Obama. You are totally ridiculous. I have no idea of which Obama you're talking about. But I would just say that it was inappropriate to start off the, I call it a rant, in the way he did. And there are some things that he is planning on doing, or he's going to try to do, that really sounds nice. And if he works with the council in a mature way, we will benefit from that, certainly. But I will also say that his campaign is over. Okay? And he won. No matter what kind of percentage you come up with, it doesn't matter to me. But one of the things that I do believe is that he, the mayor, is he's experiencing some things that he set forth over the past 7 years. Okay?
Yes.
And they were very, very negative.
Yes.
And so he's just experiencing the same thing. And it's okay. This is called politics. But I do believe that he was wrong. Okay? It was wrong. And he should not do it again. But he's a big boy, so he can do whatever he wants to do. But I will say that it was wrong, and you can't, I don't think anyone should pretend that he was just acting like Obama. Okay, so that's the most ridiculous thing I've heard tonight. But one thing that I also was saying is that there is a difference between a Democrat and a Federalist. Okay, a Federalist is not a Democrat. Okay, someone, if you're not going to pledge the flag, pledge allegiance, you're not a Democrat, you're a Federalist.
Thank you.
As you've been saying yourself.
Are you responding to me?
No, the person behind you. The Federalist.
She's talking to you.
Oh, that's not true, sweetheart. I love it.
Excuse me, order. We have a speaker speaking, she still have time.
Okay, but here's
You
what
will have your time to speak, Councilwoman.
Here's what I will say, that we are a democracy, and he had permission or whatever through the powers within him to speak, I guess. But it was not appropriate, and I don't think that, I believe that you should sanction him if anything of such, but it wasn't appropriate, okay? And he did misrepresent Plainfield in doing so.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more for privilege?
Yes, I have to finish stuff that I didn't finish. My name is Charles Eke, 1045 Woodland Avenue in Plainfield. Before I start my statement, I'm going to give this to Madam Clark. I'm making a request on Oprah for the entire uncut, unedited version of the mayor's video.
He's making what he said, he's making an Oprah request for the unedited version.
And uncut. Now, having said that, I don't want that tape edited because I know there's a version that is out there that was not edited, nothing was taken out of it. But finally, what we saw is the edited version. So I need the whole thing and nothing but the whole thing.
All right.
Now, having said that, I find what the council have done today very great. Because if you set a stage, if you prescribe a medication and you happen to fall sick on the same medication that you prescribed, you should take that medication. Because what's good for the goods is good for the gathering. And if you're in a glass house, you shouldn't throw stones. I've lived in this town for the last 24 years. I used to own 1413 East Front Street. And now I own 1045 Woodland. I want this city to succeed. And I want us to work because from what I heard is that it's one city, one people, one destiny. And I've asked myself, after the election is over, what happened to the one city, one people, one destiny? That's what I'm asking, and I need an answer to that. Now, I've heard so many things said. I've heard people defend the mayor. I've heard people that doesn't defend it. You guys know this is an election time, and people will say whatever they want to say. The mayor is the father of this city, but he doesn't do that. There has been an issue where the mayor calls a particular citizen bad for Plainfield, and he was asked to withdraw that statement. I think he did. That's not a statement that tells me that it's one people, one destiny, one city. It tells me that it's one people, two destinies. So, having said that, the buck stops with the mayor. Most of us own businesses, most of us are managers. Well, I'm in computer science. And when there is an issue in an office, the first thing you do is to find a solution by bringing the two people on the table. You don't go to the public and criticize one of them and finally come to bring them to table. It will be very difficult to do.
That's right.
And also, there must be a respect driven into this whole thing within the council, which I don't see. Some people in the council have caused and will continue to cause gridlock in that council. There got to be an avenue for each person to work together. You must agree, and even if you disagree, it must be done professionally. There are things that are not said in public that we don't have to know. People don't come to the meeting with preconceived agenda. Oh, I'm going to fight there. And that's what I've seen in the council. I've watched them in the tape. Let me tell you one thing. Every council meeting that I missed, I have collected the tapes. And I've watched them. And to whom much is given, much is expected. If there's no respect to the citizens and to the council, you will not achieve anything.
Right.
So we need to begin to build what is called a culture of respect and begin to bring the bridges. I'm not going to sit here and speak like my opponent did, telling in TV who to vote, who not to vote, but I'm telling the citizens that ask any of the council members what the achievement of their record has been. When people have no record, they run from their record. If you have, this is a time for a scorecard. You tell us stuff you've done, and you demand for our vote. May God bless all of you.
All right.
Any more for privilege of the floor? That's great.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sharice Kuntz, 141 McKinley Place in Plainfield. I sat and I was writing notes, and I found myself writing notes, and I was writing notes, having thoughts of things that I heard other people say here. You know, with people getting their, you know, we're here because somebody got their feelings hurt, because I do see that, and I see grandstanding, you know, people talking about grandstanding. Now, one thing that I will say is that I think this was a complete waste of time tonight. It was a complete waste of time because I worked all day. I could be home doing some other things, just like I'm sure everybody else could. I just have actually two comments. And I wonder, is there anything else that we could have talked about tonight other than this to bring Plainfield back to its greatness? I know I saw the young lady here tonight. She said she'd been in Plainfield for 9 years. I've been in Plainfield for 44 years. I was born at Muhlenberg Hospital. I was born in Plainfield. I remember you as a vice principal at the high school. You know, I went through Plainfield. I went to the public schools here. I went away to college. I came back here. I bought a house here. I've been a taxpayer in this city, and I can tell you that I'm ashamed of what I've seen here tonight. And if my house was worth anything, because the property values have tanked, I would hit the road as fast as I could. I mean, I really would. I mean, you're not giving me, I'm not seeing anything, you're not giving me anything to say, Sharice, you should really stay in Plainfield, because we have some great things about to happen. I'm not seeing that here. And I will tell you, the first chance, I mean, unless I see things turn around, the first chance that I can hit the road, I'm out of here. And I don't know if other people are feeling the same way, but you guys have got to get it together. This is ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous. We need to learn how to play nicely together in the sandbox. You know, I went to, we celebrated my grandmother's 88th birthday a few weeks ago. And you know, like Miss Lillian, she was saying, you know, we all need to get along. And all I could think about what my grandmother would say here tonight if she heard a lot of this stuff going on, she would say, somebody needs to go to the backyard and get their own switch. Somebody needs a spanking. Because, you know, we're not acting like adults here. Get it together. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
And the switch should come from a peach tree.
Oh, it has to be a big switch. Don't bring the little switch back.
Roland Muhammad, 1117 North Avenue. You know, that's one thing I am really tired of people saying what they would do if they could. If you want to leave, leave. Leave the house, leave everything, leave. That's all.
I'm not walking away from my investment, sweetheart.
I have a home too.
Okay, and that's
You know,
fine.
and I was born here. I've been here, it'll be 58 years this October. Like I said, my mother was born here in 1935. My great-grandmother came here about 1914. She was 15 with 2 children. Married with 2 children. When my family came here, we didn't have a 22. There was no 22. Front Street was gravel. My family been here a long time, so we've seen the best of Plainfield, and we're going to see the best of Plainfield again. You know, so I mean, if you don't like something, get in here and fight with us and make it better. Don't complain about it. You know, I have family members saying, let's go to Georgia, let's go to down south, let's go here, let's go here. I said, the furthest I would ever go is to South Plainfield, and I don't even like that. I said, I done lived on the west, and now I'm on the east. And I'm not leaving Plainfield. I'm going to fight like hell with those who fight with us. You know, I get tired of saying we need to all just get along. We need to let bygones be bygones. Leave the past in the past. But you wasn't saying that when I first started coming back to the council meeting. The guys that come here when McWilliams was in office. And I used to debate with him. We would have it out. But when we left that meeting, we left it at that building.
Right.
There's times that I came in here that I've heard certain council members say, we got to get him. It's a shame that he could come in here and talk to us like he talked to us. So what we have to do is come up with a Roland Crawford rule. She's looking up, she knows who I'm talking about. A Roland Crawford rule. If we run back the tape, you don't have to come out with the name, you know, but if they say if the shoe fits, it's yours. If I stepped on your toe, it's not nothing wrong with me. Get your toe out the way. If it's not you, don't say nothing. You know, but what I'm saying is that when I used to come in here, and we talk about respecting somebody, our mayor, I don't like to call her former, our mayor would sit up there and I'd watch certain council members just totally disrespect her. Totally, and I stood up and I said, never again. I took on the one you call mayor. Took him on right up here, he was sitting right in the same seat as Mr. Reed. Took on the president. Took on whoever I saw that would disrespect her, we would stand up. And I listened to these other people coming, I support Matt. Why? What have he done? What have he done? What is his plans? We want to know. We don't see you in the 4th ward. We don't see you even in the 1st ward. What have he done? You know, I mean, boy, oh boy, if I could just say, you know, but I could talk with you after the meeting and we could just sit down and talk sharp with one another, but I don't really want to waste a whole lot of time on that because we do have work to do. What Matt did was not right. And like you said, he spent thousands of dollars on BS. And now you're going to talk about what we're wasting of time. If it's a waste of time, you didn't have to come here tonight. You could have stayed home and watched your stories. Stayed home. You didn't have to come here. I don't understand why you come and then you complain. Stayed home. I could have stayed home and watched the game tonight. But I saw a bigger game here in City Hall, so I came tonight because I wanted to be a part of it. We got work to do. And if we can't do it with that man who's going to be a one-term mayor, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. And I think the council will stand up, have a backbone that will not start dancing. Because anyone that we help put in office and you start dancing and selling this out, we will get rid of you.
Thank you.
That's my time?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Gotcha.
I won't even need all of my time. Sharon Robinson Briggs, 216 Pemberton Avenue. I want to piggyback on what Brother Rowland said. That's what I love about that gentleman. He's always very straightforward. You know exactly what's on his mind, how he's feeling, and he's very direct with his comments. I think it's imperative that we all work in that way, that we're very direct and not be around to say exactly what it is that we need and what we feel and how we can move forward together. I personally believe that if Mr. Matt truly wanted to work with everyone and move forward with this city, he would not be denouncing the people who he should be working with. That should not be happening. And I agree, I think it may have been Mr. Reed who said, you know, take people in the back room, hash it out, talk, work it out, whatever it is. Like how I see members of our police division who are here, just as we did when there was a union thing on the table. We all got together. Said, okay, we're going to be here all night if we can't settle this and we'll resolve it. And that's how we work things out. I really think, honestly, I really think that Mr. Mapp owes you all an apology because that should not have happened the way that it happened on TV. And he has to remember from this point forward that when he is on our cable stations, it's not just Plainfield that views that. It's folks outside of this community. I love Plainfield, and I still love everything about Plainfield, and I know there's a lot of goodness here. And I think that if somebody wants to really lead this community, they have to start by setting an example. And they need to be positive and come out. Everybody's not going to ever agree on everything, but there should be a happy medium somewhere, somehow, and always a certain level of respect. So I'm saying that to say, I hope that this Tuesday, June 3rd, that you get the support that you need and you get the help that you need, because we need to do some things to help have people work together and make Plainfield a much better place. Because you know what? We're Plainfield and we deserve it. So I want to thank you for calling this meeting because there's always a need when there is a need to do the business of the city. So God bless you all and good luck on June 3rd.
Thank you.
Not you, honey.
Madam Mayor, congratulations on your new blog. I did get a
Thank you,
chance to
thank
read
you
it.
very, very much.
Any more for privilege of the floor?
Tom Crown over 1112 Watchung Avenue, Plainfield, New Jersey. I just wanted to say this meeting has really become rather political. It's kind of amazing. On a different note, though, I did want to thank the police and fire and emergency folks for coming out to my house recently. I had a ceiling collapse on me. I almost died under 1,000 pounds of stucco, which was a very uncomfortable place to be for about 10 minutes. Fortunately, a police officer arrived just in the nick of time to give me a hand out from under that stucco, and as the last speaker was saying, how wonderful many of the things here in Plainfield are. Our police, fire, and emergency service people do a terrific job and should be properly appreciated for what they do. And I certainly have great appreciation for them for this recent incident. So, in addition to all the fine people that I have come to know in the last 7 years here in Plainfield, and the wonderful homes that exist here, and the great things that Plainfield has to offer, I just want to urge you all to appreciate those things and don't dwell entirely on the political differences that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more for privilege of the floor?
Right here.
Oh.
Patty Gutenkamp, 414 Randolph Road.
Good evening.
Hello again. I promised I would be back, and those of you who have worked with me know I always keep my promises, so, and I don't make a lot of promises. It gets easier that way. You know, I said before I had worked in politics since 1958. And I want to tell you, I think that Mayor Mapp has a big ego. And I think that Assemblyman Green has a big ego. And I think many members of the council have big egos too. And I also want to tell you that I have never known a politician who didn't have a big ego. And I want to tell you that some politicians learn how to keep it in check publicly, and others never do. And some of them knew how to do it before they went into politics. And more power to them, I say. And power, by the way, is an illusion. Illusion. The illusion of power is power. Why? Because the illusion is what other people see. You know, I used to be a sociology professor. Forgive me. Calling this special meeting tonight to discuss and vote on this silly resolution was one humongous waste of taxpayer dollars. This taxpayer is a bit vexed about that because it didn't have to happen. It just didn't have to happen. And it accomplished nothing. Brought a lot of people to the council, to the meeting. That's great. It's wonderful.
I wish that would happen more often on serious business, because there's an awful lot of serious business that isn't getting done while this petty BS is going on. And it's time to cut it out. Learn how to, play with each other peacefully. If somebody doesn't salute the flag, that's their privilege. They're Americans. If I don't say under God in the Pledge of Allegiance, that's my privilege as an American. I say it the way I learned how when I was in elementary school, and that's a long, long time ago. And some of the things you learn in elementary school you never forget. If somebody doesn't want to say a prayer, or does want to say a prayer, listen, we live under a constitution that separates church from state and acknowledges individual freedom. And if politicians want to be successful, they need to understand that. Now, talk about, Councilman Reed, you talk about putting the council president and the mayor in a room together, lock the door, and, let them fight. I tried that, and you were there, on this WBLS BS. Yes, I said that right. I tried that. And from the first, and I wasn't going to charge the city a penny. And I used to be a professional negotiator and did damn good stuff. The minute the first meeting started, and Bill, I'm glad, Councilman Reed, I'm glad you were there to see it. Because when I saw that the then mayor was going to have to go back and talk to her lawyer, I knew you and I were wasting our time. When anybody files a lawsuit against somebody else, there's always two lawyers, one on each side. One of them wins, one of them loses, and they both get paid. And they both get paid by our taxpayer money. And this taxpayer lives on Social Security and a small IRA, and I object to having my money wasted this way. Do I sound overheated? Well, the air conditioning is not on. And my time is up. Can you give me 2 minutes? No, right?
You gotta put a motion on the floor.
Make a motion to extend the time, as we often do as a courtesy. Someone wants to second?
Nobody wants to second it, and that tells me something.
I'm a second.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You don't second? You're against? You're against? Go ahead.
Yes, 2 more minutes.
Thank you. Now, that's the first time that's been done at this meeting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Privilege of old age, I guess, huh?
That's right. No, just old age, who you are.
All right. Let's talk about Muhlenberg, what a loss that was. And there aren't many politicians who have been with us from the beginning in our efforts to save Muhlenberg. I could count them on the fingers of one hand. And there's not that many who have attended our annual commemoration of the closure. I don't have the date with me, but I'm going to tell you now it's going to be the Saturday nearest to August 13th. And I hope you all can come. Because that hospital was an essential for this community. And when I heard Councilwoman Taylor say recently that the proposed 600-unit apartment complex that JFK wanted to build was, quote, off the table, it made me think I was back in negotiations, the bargaining table, and I wonder who's negotiating with who. I don't need to know. But something's got to come out of it. And Councilwoman, my son is a proud graduate of Plainfield High School, and he remembers you very well. He does. Right? Cedarbrook, Hubbard, and the high school. And we worked on a lot of school board campaigns. and we won most of them with a lot of support from my old friend Jerry Green. Which brings me to what I wanted to bring up, and that is this mailer that made my blood boil this afternoon when the mail came. Paid for by Jerry Green for assembling. From Steve Shapiro, who lives in Gloucester County. Mr. Shapiro, who lives in Gloucester County and probably hasn't been to Plainfield in the last 20 years. And I know my time's up, but you can't stop me from talking. Many have tried, right? And he's the state senate president.
Anybody else for privilege of the floor?
And he didn't write this stuff.
Hello. Amanda Henry, 1449 Coolidge Street, Plainfield, New Jersey, USA. I wanted to comment because from what I'm seeing tonight, it made me think of a quote. And it's basically, it's not what your country could do for you, it's what you could do for your country. Everybody's probably heard this statement. And that quote can go even closer to home than your country. It's to your city, it's to your community, it's to your neighborhood. You should be proud of where you live. Not just the country you're in, but the city you live in. From what I've heard, I voted for the mayor. I'm just going to specify that beforehand. And my concern is not with him being a Democrat or a New Dem or whatever he wants to claim, but my concern is what he plans to do to benefit the city. From what I've heard tonight, there has been nothing positive that came out of that mayor's corner that everyone is heated about. No one, not even his supporters, have mentioned a positive thing that came out of this video, and it kind of disturbs me that that's not something someone wants to support or follow with the positives, but talk about the negatives and support that instead. Being a mayor is not a political agenda. It is a job working for the people that embody the city. And I think it's appalling when our leaders find their time in a leadership seat to push a political agenda, to videotape their supporters and only finding that play button for when they get that support. I do want to speak upon statements made in terms of what the mayor has been doing. In terms of the budget, the things that he wanted to add to it, really we're not adding programs or initiatives that impacted our city positively, but salaries and overtimes that just increases the taxes for its citizens. The opportunity today that has been given for residents to speak their minds, to give their opinions is not a waste of time. And I'm very happy to have been able to share mine. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else for privilege of the floor? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close?
So moved, Madam President.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Any more comments from council members? Seeing none, can
I have one comment to make. And one thing that I would just say to one of the speakers who talked about federalism, gave an incorrect and inaccurate definition of federalism. I wasn't quite sure where that comment was going, but it's incorrect. And I would say that in terms of New Democrats, Tea Parties, etc., the only Republican that I know who's in this room is the former mayor, who was a member of the Republican County Committee for several years. So if we're talking about Democrats, Republicans, New Democrats, etc., I always make the distinction that there are always political clubs. There are LGBT Democratic clubs. There are young Democrat clubs. There are Latino Democrat clubs. There are sports-related Democrat clubs, and they all call themselves these different clubs. Our club is a club. And the other point that I was going to make is there are always contested primaries. When Barack Obama ran the first time, Hillary Clinton was in the race, Barack Obama was there, Howard Dean was there. They were all Democrats, and at the end of the primary process, The one person standing was Barack Obama, and he then became the standard bearer for the Democratic Party in 2008. I ran 4 years ago, I guess now, yeah, 3.5, 4 years ago, and I had two opponents. We were all Democrats, and after it was over, I was the one who won the primary, so I became the standard bearer. And the two people who ran against me said, we will support you. So I'm a Democrat, New Democrats are Democrats. For Senate President Steve Sweeney, who probably wouldn't know me if he fell over me, to call me a Tea Party person, to say that I'm disrespecting the American flag, and to fill this with, you know, a lot of lies and garbage, and for it to come at the last minute. I've already written to Sweeney, and there's already in the works a retraction, because he too was offended that his name was used. This is what I'm hearing. I have no evidence of this. I see you starting to write something. This is what I've been hearing. So, you know, I look forward to Senate President Sweeney's apology for allowing himself to be used in this way. Thank you.
I want to say something. Everybody seems to be missing the point. The point here is that the mayor is the head of the city. And the mayor has totally disrespected each and every one of us here on the council, the councilmen, and I believe that an apology is absolutely necessary. This is crazy how, if you are the leader of an organization, you set the tone. You need to respect the people that you're working for. If you want respect, you have to give it. There's no two ways about it. And whatever you give out, this is why we are in such a ruckus. We can't get along because there's no respect shown on either side. And I'm terribly disappointed in the way that he is presenting Plainfield, because Plainfield deserves better than this. We on this council work extremely hard, and I'm sure the assembly works extremely hard. I would hope that he would work extremely hard to make this city work. Thank you.
I think that this has been disrespectful in reference to what was just stated by my colleague. To use this time for her political agenda is really not acceptable. And it's really almost like a person crying for attention. I mean, political situation, this is a political environment. There was a nasty, nasty letter that was sent by the mayor about many of us. But do you hear me crying about it at a city council meeting? No. This is part of the problem. This is inappropriate. We are not to use city time for your little personal, petty, political complaints. I resent that she does this all the time. And now, I never took out all my stuff that was written by the, quote, New Democrats. This is not the place. We are here to do city work, to work for our community. And when we waste time because you got a little problem, I want to say something lastly. I am not upset that the mayor talked about the city council, Lillian. He talked about us at a Board of Commissioners meeting with the Housing Authority, and I was the only council person sitting there. I didn't jump up and get mad at him or pout or say he shouldn't do that. I was disappointed that he did it. I spoke to that, but I didn't act like a child and cry. Now, the only thing that I do not like that he said, not that he's been saying he didn't like the council. He's going to people like, you won't make us do something. He knows the process. I resent that. Instead of him participating in the process, he's going to go and complain to you as if he needs you to attack us to make him do his job. That is not good leadership. A good leader will do what we've already said. I had to do it as a principal. I can go run at my parents and say, well, the teachers are treating me bad. You all come in here and do something about it. I can't do my job. No, I had to be the leader and try to pull people together to see my way. Now, I am not upset that he jumped on the council on his mayor's corner. What I'm upset is that he, as the leader of our city, used his position as mayor in the seat of the mayor's office.
That's right.
And he proceeded to do what she just did. Take out political stuff. That is inappropriate. And it's unethical. No other mayor has done this. That is not what a mayor is to do. If you want to fight with me politically, let's go fight in the political arena. But while you're on as the mayor, Lillian, he is to represent all the people. He is to, yes, because she's my friend, I can say that to her. He is to represent and be a real leader. Not somebody pouting because certain personalities didn't. You're not going to do anything to that personality. Go to where they are in charge and deal with that. Don't do that on Plainfield time, acting as our mayor when there's so many issues. Some of the issues he said were excellent. He talked about his vision. I appreciate all that. I got upset when he went off the script, so to speak, and started dealing with his personal political agendas. It is not appropriate, nor was it appropriate for my colleague to bring political agenda, political papers, and proceed to lambaste people because it's a political season. I didn't do that about the stuff they sent me and lied on me. I didn't do that. This is not the place for that. This is the place for us to do city business. And I want to make that clear. And all these folk who come, who are on one side or the other, you better stop too. Because the rest of the folk out there could care less about all this us and them mess. And they're not going to just side with the mayor. They're going to side with where they think the people are doing the right thing, whether it's the mayor or the council. All of us need to get together. That is true. And I'm willing to do that, but you got to follow the rules.
Right.
I did not create the rules, the process. There is a process that you are to deal with. There's an executive branch, then there's a legislative branch. They must work together, but there's a way that they work. Advice and consent is what the council gives to the mayor. The smart mayors also worked with you and gave you information ahead of time. And then they began to count their votes to see what they could get done. Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. Then you have to use other things at your disposal. What he's going to do is like my husband did. He'll keep his people on for 90 days. That's how you do it. He's got resources and wherewithal to make things happen according to how he wants it to be done. He does not need all of y'all babysitting him and telling him that that he needs you to be here to beat up on us. Let the process work. But understand that we all have to do this together. Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, any abstentions?
Good night, folks. Drive home safely.